Welcome back to Conscious CoCreators. It's a space for holistic facilitators and conscious leaders to share their gifts. Today I'm by myself without Uma, but don't worry, she'll be back for the next one. And joined by a very special guest here, we have Vanda.
Hello.
Holistic facilitator and DJ. And so many other things. Slash so many great things, and here to share the space.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. It's always a very special thing for me to have a space to open up and to talk about what I believe in. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I feel like I want to share the story of how we connected first.
Absolutely.
Because that's amazing that we spoke on a phone call. I don't know how, maybe a year or two ago, probably.
Almost 2 years, 1.5, something like that. Yeah.
Yes, and we connected through breathwork. The idea was you wanted to connect breathwork with dance and find a way to create something to activate people through dancing. And that was a conversation. And, you know, sometimes I have these conversations with people and we talk, and then people say things and then they either never go on to do it or fulfill it. So it was so amazing to then randomly bump into you at Being Gathering with...
at Being Gathering.
Exactly. Yeah. It was like out of the thousands of people there, we just bumped into each other. The universe brought us together in that way.
Yeah, and now we're here.
And now we're here. Yes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story. I was still kind of in that journey of figuring out how does this output looks like. You know, I knew I wanted to share a lot of stuff with people, and by that I was looking into different trainings and certifications and all of that. And you were connected with one of the certifications that I was thinking about, which I ended up not doing. I did another one. Right. But it was great to kind of just listen. This is where I am right now. What do you think? So thank you for your time as well. It's those little things that eventually add up to something. Thank you.
Right. It's planting the seeds, isn't it?
It is,
I feel like that's what it's all about.
We're always doing it.
Yeah.
So we might as well do it consciously, right?
Yeah, and we're co-creating as well.
Yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I feel like that's a great way to start, because for a lot of people who are watching this, maybe they want to become a facilitator. They have an idea and a vision, and that was something that you started with, but then the manifestation of that to go from the idea to creating your own events to then going into a festival. Like, I'm curious about that journey, how that journey was for you since we spoke.
Yeah, well, it was a ride. For me, it was all about letting my heart decide and doing what really connected me and gave me joy and really made me feel alive and kind of on purpose, aligned with, and doing it every day without expecting anything in return. So dropping all the expectations. I think that's the hard part. So not expecting that the first event that you do will fill up, or the second, or whatever, you know. I show up myself in my heart, and whoever comes, I trust that the universe has got it all figured out in a good way, and whoever is supposed to be there will be there. So it was all about being connected with that truth and not allowing my fears and my kind of, you know, those triggers like, oh, am I good enough to do this, or why aren't people connecting, or whatever that comes, because it's a journey and it's not always easy. So on the hard days, connecting with, am I building this from love? And then having the answer like, yes, you are. So it's all perfect. So trying not to build, so not to plant seeds from fear and kind of go too much into the mind or marketing or this or that. And then just do what you feel that you should be doing right now. And everything else it's not your job to figure it out. It's your job to show up in your authentic and kind of create what you think you are supposed to do, and then let it all figure it out by itself. So it was a lot about that, and a lot, which is the same, it was about consistency. So every time, since the day one, I decided that I would do this because I trust that it's what I'm supposed to be doing. And by just living that every day, I'm where I am. You know, it's not magic. It's just consistency of belief and of love and of grounding yourself and trusting that you're good. You're good. Yeah. So that's my recipe, I would say.
That's powerful. Like showing up is a lot.
Yeah.
And I think for some people, just even the process of showing up is a challenge. And
Absolutely.
believing in yourself, and like these are things that people kind of overlook. They feel like, oh, if I had the right strategy, it would work.
Yeah, the right certification, the right this, I need more this, more of that. And I went through all of those processes as every facilitator goes through. I did a lot of courses. I did a lot of things. I read all the books. Well, I'm still reading them. but so I really tried to do my homework and I need. And then one day I just figured out, no, you don't. You know, you need to share yourself with the world, you know, and whatever that looks like. And I heard that from a couple of teachers that I had and from friends as well. It's like, just do it. And I'm always saying that to other people. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? It's like, okay, I stay in exactly the same place that I am right now, but with some kind of an experience, which means some kind of learning. So there's nothing bad that can get out of it, you know. The worst case scenario is you have more experience and you know that that's not for you.
Right.
So for me, it was that, just kind of do it and do it with fear. And people, I always get, oh, you're so brave, or you're so, you know, those beautiful remarks and compliments. But honestly, I myself a lot of times, you know, I do it in fear, I do it in struggle, but it's showing up. If you really believe it, just do it, you know. Don't, if you're waiting for the right conditions and for you to feel amazing and super super confident that you got it all figured out, you'll never do anything. So that's the thing, is do it with fear. Do it without feeling that you're completely prepared, because you never are. It's impossible, you know. Experience will, and life will always play you tricks. So show up.
Yeah, it's accepting where you're at and not wishing it's different. So hoping to change and be like, okay, I wish all the fear would go away, then I can start with it. But
and then, you know,
you never
10 years, you're still there, you know. And another thing that I was told, and it really helped me to move, was what you're doing comes from generosity. So if you don't do it, if I'm doing something for myself, and everything that I bring into the world with Somagroove and with everything else, it's I share the path that I walk. So I have to walk it first. So that's how I grow as a person, and that's how I can show up as a facilitator. Because I can only lead someone where I've already been, you know. It's not about the books. It's about, you know, I feel it. I know where you are. I've been there, you know. I've felt it. I know how that feels. And that creates a bond that, you know, no book, no course can give you. And so it's starting from that place. And then if you know that doing that path, or whatever that was, an exercise, a journey, a breath work, or whatever, took you to such a beautiful place of connection, of authenticity, whatever it brought you. Holding that back to others, not sharing it, it's actually being selfish. So that kind of twist to it made me,
that's interesting. I had the same realization as well.
It's like,
for me,
being selfish, how can I be keeping this to myself? You know, I will share it for whoever wants to hear it.
I felt the same, because for me, for a long time, I had this belief that I was shy, that I can't speak to people. But then I'm like, wait, whenever I speak to people and I'm around them, I can help them in ways that I didn't think was possible.
Yeah.
And then if I'm just keeping that to myself, it is kind of selfish.
It is.
And yeah, having that shift completely changed a lot, and it aligned a lot of things for me. So I'm curious about you, because now you mentioned the process that you went throughout here.
Yeah.
But was this always the case for you, or did you ever go through any experiences when you were younger that maybe made you like doubt if this was ever going to happen, or if you were just like, you know, going to follow a different life path, or was there anything that...
Yes, absolutely. I would never imagine being where I am right now. 10 years ago. No, I don't even need to go further back.
Right.
I've always been overachiever, perfection. Not always. Let me rephrase that. I have been, for a great part of my life, an overachiever and a perfectionist, which I am not right now. So growing up as an athlete, you know, competition, perfection is always, you know, it's never good enough, and you need one more workout in, and you need more 1/10 of whatever. You need one less gram.
What sort of athlete were you?
I worked. I did a few things, from judo to dance to volleyball, and then fitness, dancing. So I was in a lot of. I was very active. My academics is in physical education as well. So I kind of went through the path of the body in movement until my mid-20s, and that was what I slept, ate, breathed. That was all for me. And music. So yeah, I always felt that I had these super high standards, and I was so hard on myself. But now, and I've had so many lives, because I had the athlete life, I had the trainer / dancer life, the teacher life, the professional international DJ life, the corporate life, the opening up a school of DJs and running it for 13 years as well. And then I came to this point of being lost, you know, and I'm lucky and challenged to be good at a few things. And I say that lucky and challenged. Because it's like, I always give this this example. Imagine you have a lot of clothes, you know, on your wardrobe, and you wake up and you want to get dressed, and it's like it can be a bit anxious because you have too many options, you know. So if you go simple, you just you just enjoy. It's like okay,
yeah. That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, I did a lot of things, as I just met. There's more, but I mentioned probably the biggest ones. And I was decently good or very good at all of them. So I could pursue them. There was an opening, there was a pull, there was an invitation for all of them. So I was literally just stretching myself into so many different things at the same time, you know, and that's the challenging part, you know. It's good because I've experienced a lot of different things in my life, but at the same time, I was giving 50% to this and 20% to that and 20% to that. And it's like, and no social life, no personal life, no time for sleeping. So, you know.
Yes.
So then I got to this point a few years back before Somagroove that I just decided that, what am I doing? Do I like what I do? I like what I do. Do I do it well? I do it well. Do I feel it's where I'm supposed to be in my gut? No. And that's when it started. That was the seed that took me to Somagroove, was figuring out that I didn't want to be comfortable in something that I was good at. I wanted to be doing and being the person that I'm supposed to be, that I am, which is not the DJ. It's not the professor. It's not. It is, but it's not.
Right.
And that's the beauty of Somagroove, because that blend. Now it makes sense, all of the craziness and the completely disconnected paths that I took, because now they all bring some magic into that blend that I do. So I figured out after Somagroove was already kind of a thing in the beginning, but kind of, I don't know, maybe a few months in, I figured out like, wow, now it makes sense. Because from the gymnastics, I have this knowledge. And then from the DJing, I bring this knowledge. And now they all kind of, add to this.
That's
it was
interesting.
Beautiful. It was a moment of pure gratitude and humility. Like, now I figure out the struggle, why I wasn't. I was kind of receiving, kind of gathering informations for eventually creating something different.
That's true. And sometimes we don't see how this is connected.
Yeah.
You might feel like, oh, I wasted some years over there, but then there was that one lesson you needed from there that actually helps you so much later down the line. And in the end, it does become part of who you are and the journey for you. So you spoke a few times about Somagroove. Maybe you can share a little bit about that. I'm familiar with what you're doing, but maybe just to share.
So it's my baby. It's what life led me to be generous about and create into the world. So it's my own blend, my own take of different modalities that I've received so much from. In my own journey, my own personal healing and discovering myself journey, as a curious person that I am, I've tried many different things. Let me feel this. Oh, okay, I'm curious about that. And I started to explore different things as they were popping up, from workshops to retreats to conversations and books. And then a few of them started to touch me on a deeper level, resonated with me on a deeper level. And those were the ones that I started to study a bit more and wanted to know more and feel more about it. And those were the ones that eventually came into this blend of Somagroove, which is kind of even for me, it's hard to explain. It's an embodiment journey, a journey within yourself that is led by different modalities as tools. So we're talking about breath work, meditation, mindfulness, somatic movement, dance movement therapy, ecstatic dance, polyvagal theory-based, trauma-informed, and energy release. There's a lot of different things, which for me, they all make sense combined in my body and my soul. You know, I get to a different place if I blend them than if I do one at a time. It takes me to a very special place. It takes me home. And, you know, it's different helps, different hands that hold you in that journey. So Somagroove is that it's a very immersive journey. So you start and you kind of lose track of it, and it's guided by me with music, always with music. And so there's this kind of journey within yourself that at every moment something will show, and we just go into that invitation of your own body and of the music, and we blend it all together. And when you realize you're in a completely different world within yourself, and it's a very, very beautiful journey, I might say. And it's about connecting yourself, to your true authentic self. So you get out of your thinking mind, and you are able to really feel what is alive in you. And we open up space for the emotions, which is where the juice is, right? So we allow them to come into the body to finally be moved, because we all have energy that needs to be moved. So it's about changing your relationship with your emotions, owning them, honoring them, you know, holding your anger, your sorrow in kindness, and seeing that they're not bad, and that they deserve as much space as joy and happiness, and that actually you can't have one without the other. So we need that blend of and that space to really go everywhere if we want to live fully. So that's Somagroove.
That sounds incredible. Amazing blend.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel the same way.
Yeah, I feel that what I experienced in my own journey is realizing that one tool doesn't work, and it's not like when I got into breathwork, I thought, okay, breathwork is the answer to everything, and it's usually not, because it's like there are cases when it's useful, and there's situations where it can completely transform your life, but it's not the answer to everything. So having all those different combination of the modalities to create that experience is amazing. So I'm wondering, what is it that you feel the people who go into a Somagroove experience, what are they looking to get out of the experience after going through it?
I think it's always a bit different, because everybody is in a different place in their life.
Right.
So some people come with a plan, with a goal, like I want to work on this. Some others they just come out of the curiosity, like what is this Somagroove thing? Others come without knowing what they're coming from. They come with someone like, yeah, you're going to do this with me. So it's always completely different. And at the end, what happens is, if you allow the process to happen, if you don't resist it too much, and that's the tricky part, is for us not to resist it and to allow whatever is happening and flowing and kind of surfacing within us to the outside, to the skin, to the bones, to the heart, to the voice, to this everywhere. If we allow it to just flow and we don't try to control it in any ways, that will just be whatever you really need. So it's always different. And I have people that come to my sessions, I call them groovers, the people that come often, the groovers. So I have groovers that are like frequent groovers, and they say it, and it's not me that says it, but they say it's always so different. It's crazy how every time I come, it's like, I think I already know what's going to happen, and then boom, twist. It's completely different, because it's about opening up space and having a container to be who you are in that moment. And that will always be different. So it's not about structure, about protocols. And that's why I love the blending, because it's just allowing and just kind of controlling the container in a way that you feel safe to explore what's arising. That's pretty much what I do. I kind of invite, I just tweak a little bit. Sometimes I can poke you a little bit, or just hold you a little bit, but it's invitations for you to go in and stay in, not run from it, and feel safe. Like, I can face this right now. I feel comfortable, scared, but comfortable enough to face it right now. I feel safe to do it. And you look around and people are doing the same. It's like, okay, I'm going. And sometimes you push back, but then you feel that comfort in any way. It's okay, I'm safe. And you stay with it. And in the end, it's always healing. It's always an awakening. It's always coming back to who you are. It's empowering yourself. So it's not about me or Somagroove. It's about you. It's about you feeling, because it's not a mental, it's not a cognitive therapy. It's feeling that you have all the answers and you have everything that you need inside of it. You just have to go there. So that's how I see it, and that's how I try to live my life, and therefore be as I facilitate.
Yes, thank you for sharing the process. And what I get from your energy and sharing is that when you are facilitating or holding that space, you create a safe container for people to experience their transformations. So I'm wondering, how did you create that within yourself? How are you able to create that safe space for others to go deep in their process without falling into it?
Thank you for that. I've never been asked that question. It's a very big one. From not feeling safe most of my life within myself. So again, it's about walking the path. We've all had our traumas. I've had my share as well growing up. So in this healing process, the last few years, literally the last couple of years, I've realized after doing all this work on myself, a lot of my life I've been working on myself, but these last 2 years were crazy deep. And I realized that I didn't know what it was to feel safe within. And that was my MO, my way of living.
Right.
So, and I always hear that people that come to my sessions, and I also do one-on-one therapy. So my clients, my groovers, I think the thing that I hear the most is that it's like, I feel safe. Thank you for making me feel safe. I think that's the thing that I hear most. And I think it comes from that, from knowing what it is to be your own enemy and not feeling safe and being so hard on myself, and just being strong all the time. Not feeling that I have a space to be soft and vulnerable. And sometimes there is that space, but you just don't know how to switch.
Right.
Because your whole system, your nervous system, your mind, everything is just rooted in that, since you were a kid. So how can you, what? You can't think your way into that one, or out of it.
No.
So it was all these deep kind of hits and deep dives that I keep on doing, that I think that give me this intuition, because I don't study that, I think that's me showing up in my authenticity as having had the life that I had, that brings gifts. Like you have gifts because you've went through your stuff that no one else has. So I think one of mine is because I've walked that path very alone and very unsafe and very strong, not allowing myself to go into those, very masculine kind of energy.
No, I resonate with that.
Yeah, so it comes from there. I think I'm figuring that out right now with that question. So thank you for asking that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I feel like what you shared there resonated with me as well, because that's been my process, and that's how I recognize that in you as well. So it's
mirroring.
Yes.
Go figure. Yeah.
And what you shared there is exactly the point. It's not feeling safe allowed you to create that safety, because you're so comfortable and familiar with the unsafety.
Yeah, it doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
It doesn't scare me. It's very familiar. So I kind of know how to navigate it somehow with others.
Right. Yeah, I was at the Sacred Soul Fest this few days ago, actually, and I facilitated the ice bath there. And one of the girls came up and she wanted to do an ice bath. And then I facilitated it the way I would with anybody. And then afterwards, she gave me this compliment, and she shared her process. And she said that from the first moment, you made me feel safe. And she knew that she wasn't afraid of the ice because of the way I just spoke to her and the way I was calm through it and the instructions and the guidance I gave. And for me, it's like I've now kind of internalized that way of just making people feel safe and comfortable through the ice bath experience. Not because I've gone through an ice bath that was challenging, but it's my life that was challenging that I can relate to the ice bath. So when I see the fear coming up for the ice bath, I'll relate it to my own fears and then go through the process and kind of take them through that.
Yeah, I completely relate with that. It's not about whatever you're doing, It's the stories. It's the pathways, the neural pathways that are used to shoot in one way. And then one day you have someone that holds your hand and says, let's shoot them in a different way. And somehow you're like, okay, let's try it. Yeah. And then something changes, sometimes forever. Yeah.
Life is magical, and we have so much ability to change ourselves. And yet for a lot of people, we are so stuck on these past stories and patterns. And I feel like a lot of spaces that are created kind of Being Gathering, Sacred Soul, where to the outside it may look like a music festival and people just like going there to hang out and party, but they can be like portals for transformation. And when they create workshops like what you're doing, what other people are doing there, it gives the participants the opportunity to go in with the intention of changing and transforming their lives. So I'm wondering, how did that start for you in terms of the facilitation at Being and your other facilitations have you done in other festivals, and how do you feel like it is holding that space with a big container for a lot of people?
Yeah, I was so happy and so kind of what when it was booked, when I finalized the so thank you, Being, for trusting this newbie, because Somagroove is still a baby. And I just because on Being, and I never did a big festival. I started on Being.
That's interesting.
That's crazy, right?
Well, we actually applied for Being as well, Conscious CoCreators, but we didn't get accepted. You got accepted, so
for some reason. So I just sent it in. I applied the same way, and I was like, like so many people. It's such a big festival, and you go into those silly, and then it. Well, I'll actually tell this story. I was like, okay, I'll tell it. So I know some people, because as a DJ and everything, so I know some people that are kind of influent and that like my work and trust that I do a good job at stuff. And on Being, there was this possibility to have a connection and kind of help me through the process. And I ended up sending the application a little bit because of that. Like, there's a possibility, but not really. And then I sent my application, and I got an email and a call, and we set up a video chat and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, it sounds amazing. You look amazing, your project. It's exactly what we want. We'd love to have you. And I'm like, And then I called the person that I knew in the production team and said, thank you so much for kind of, giving it just a little love. And they said, I didn't do anything. I didn't have time. You got in? Amazing. I was like, wow. So that was beautiful, because I don't move connections. I know a lot of people, but I don't use it because I trust on the natural process of it. And it was beautiful as it just appeared. It was natural. It was completely. So that was beautiful. About holding space for a lot of people. So my sessions could go from from one person to up to maybe 30. That's kind of the regular, from 1 to 10, from 10 to 20, and sometimes a little bit bigger. That's what I usually do in group sessions. So for Being, I was kind of, but at the same time, I have experience from all my past. I DJ'd for thousands and thousands of people. I had 20,000 people. I had like tens of thousands a few times. So I kind of knew, obviously it's very different, the energy of what you're doing, but it's a big crowd and you kind of know how it feels. So I had that. But this is new, this is a completely different experience. But then I went in with the same energy. And I thought to myself, I'm going in with the exact same energy that I go into every session, which is no expectations. And I will show up in the most authentic self that I can. I will just work on that. Okay. Grounding myself, breathing, meditating a little bit before. And whoever comes, it will be perfect. So I did exact the same thing that I do for every session, every week, everywhere. And I ended up having, obviously, more than 30 people. And it didn't scare me at all. It didn't freak me out in any way. It just felt right, which was beautiful. And I remember thinking, because as a DJ, which I had quite a good career, it would bring me so much anxiety, like prepping for a big event. it would be such a weight on me, it would take a lot, drain me, because I'll be like, running all the scenarios and trying to prepare as perfectly as possible. I would go through all of that. And going into Boom, I remember talking with friends at Boom, and they're like, "Oh, are you ready? Do you feel ready for your session?" Because my session was actually on Friday, on solstice day, on solstice hour, on sunset and full moon.
Oh, wow. Powerful.
That was the gift that the gods gave me. And being started on a Monday. So I was there since Monday, and I only facilitated on Friday. So I had the whole week to freak out or to enjoy. And I was super chilled. And my friends are you okay? Are you ready? Are you ready to go? And I'm like, I haven't looked at anything. I'll know when to kind of start to think about it. So it was so natural. And if I was DJing it there, I would be working like 4 hours a day, listening to songs and kind of, going through whatever work that I did. So that again was a beautiful kind of indicator that I'm where I'm supposed to be. Just that ease. Obviously there's stress, there's anxiety, but it's very different. It's very kind of, it's okay. I can deal with this one. So I think I'm whatever crowds, from 1 to thousands, I will just do my best. And I just trust that that's what's supposed to happen in a very humble way. I don't want it to sound, like, no, it's from a very humble way that you don't know what's going to happen and you just trust the universe. So it's a trust not on yourself, but in the kind of, you just have to be yourself and the rest will figure itself out. So that's how I try to hold space.
When you were DJing back in the day with 20,000 people, 10,000 people, did you feel the same, like, was it the same approach of like trust in the universe, or did you feel more
No, I was a different person.
Was it more about how you could be seen and kind of how your performance would be, how the songs, how the crowd's going to react?
Yeah.
Kind of caring about.
Yeah, I was a different person. That was years back when I was kind of doing those big parties. It was quite a few years back. Maybe. Well, I DJed for around 20 years. I still do it once in a while for fun. But I DJed. But it was like the big part was from the early 2000s till 2014, maybe. That was kind of the strong part. So back then, obviously, that was a long time ago. And I was much younger. I hadn't gone through a lot of stuff that happened after that. So I would just... I don't know. It was very different. Obviously, I was a DJ. I always had this kind of different way to look at it, my DJ set, different from my colleagues, my DJ friends, and we would have this conversation once in a while that I wanted to give people an emotional journey, a story. I would my thing with my DJ set was always I couldn't do it all the time, but my goal was to take people on a journey, in a beautiful journey. So it's always about the uplifting and going here and then there and then that, kind of bringing the movie aspect and having a memorable, magical 2 hours. That was my goal as a DJ.
Okay.
So I tried to bring that. So that still kind of, it pours into Somagroove as well a little bit. But just the way that you react is obviously it's different because I'm not in the middle with the people the same way. I'm not going deep into traumas, into the emotional depth of everyone. But there was already, now looking back, there was already a little bit of that, in me. I was already trying to bring that out of people. Let's go on a journey together. It's not about just going crazy, like. Let's feel stuff. Let's feel stuff. So yeah, but it's different.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of your work that you're doing, and even speaking today, it's quite focused on the body, and it's focused on the emotion and the feelings of the body. How important do you think that is when working with people?
Well, that's what you have to experience life. Period. So I would say quite important. So body is where life happens. Everywhere else is not a human life. In your mind, definitely it's not a human life. It's a story, it's a movie, it's proposals, suggestions, possibilities, scenarios, reruns. So what you live is through the body. This is the machine, the beautiful vessel that we have to experience life. So if we don't give it the full space and the full honor that it deserves, you're not going to live fully.
Right.
You can have the most amazing mind. You can have the most amazing spiritual connection. It's through the body, it's connecting from the top down, from the bottom up, in the heart, in everywhere that you have in this body, in this physical body. And it's so powerful because I've been working with my body for a while, and every time I feel that I'm just scratching the surface, and then I figure out, the surface is even higher, there's even more and more depth. So the body for me, it's the access and the vessel for everything. You want to be spiritual? Go into the body. You want to be grounded? Go into the body.
Right.
You want to be generous? Go into your heart, in your body. The answer for me is always in the body. It can express itself outside of the body, obviously, but it comes from inside of the body, from your energy field, from everything. It's all coming from the body. So it's learning to connect with it and work with it as good as we can.
Okay.
So that's embodiment. That
really is
living, right?
Yes. So do you feel like people today are a little bit disconnected from their body? Or are they... Is there a reason why?
Well, yes, they are. We all are in some level. If you think about what you're taught since you're born, since you start to think a little bit, all the programming that we get from culture, from society, from schools, from family, from everything that surrounds you, it's that the mind over matter, right? Mind over matter. How can that be, right? And just about, it's not about your emotions don't matter. It's all about the material aspects. It's all about how you're perceived. So it's all about things that don't really matter or sometimes even exist. So we're very disconnected from that, and that can take you to a long way, and you can feel happy with that, but eventually it will run out. So it comes to a point in life, that is my belief at least, that if you're not in the body, if you're not connected with this, what it is to be human, you will hit a wall, which can look like burnout, like depression, like feeling off, not being able to connect, whatever that is. Because we've been told that it's all about disconnection and the individuality. And my life tells me, my experience tells me the exact opposite. It's about connection and not individuality. It's not about the one, it's about the all and becoming the all and the all becoming the one and all of that. So yeah, I think we're very disconnected, and everything that we can do that can bring us into this sense of being alive and being present in the moment. And how do you feel that? Again, through the body. If you're lost in your mind and you're stressed out, if you see even psychologists and any kind of therapists, coaches, whatever, every time the modalities are the tips that they give you to come back to yourself is coming into the body. Notice your breath. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Look at five things that you can look at them. 4 things that you can hear them. 3 things that you can what is this? I always get it wrong. That you can smell, 2 things that you can, no, 3 things that you can touch. I can touch feel the texture, feel this texture, feel this texture. 2 things that I can smell. I can smell this place. I can smell a little bit of my perfume. 1 thing that you can taste. I can taste the flavors in my mouth. And you're back in the present. So it's all embodiment if you think about it. It's just a fancy new word to coming into the present. And we're not used to that. We just live in the mind right now. So, yeah, I'm trying to do my part in it. Changing the world. It's about changing yourself and then sharing that with everyone else. So I'm trying to do that as best as I can. So let's do more of that.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And looking at it now, people may not think that things like movement or dancing or yoga are actually that beneficial, but it's like what you're saying here is connecting to your body is the most spiritual thing you can do, because it's connecting you to the earth, it's connecting you to the sky, and all of the wisdom that's within your body is
and it's where you are. It's where you are, where you exist. It's in the body. So how can you connect yourself if you're not where you are? If your focus is not on where that exists?
Right. I think, speaking from my own experience, for many years I was very much in my mind, and I didn't even realize I had a body.
Yeah.
And then when you get to a point where you're like overeating and you're not taking care of yourself, then feeling into your body can be painful, because then it's admitting that your body is like not where it should be.
Yeah.
So then it's much easier to just like not embody yourself and go and eat more. And it's like, okay, I used to be a lot chubbier than I am now. And it came from just being disconnected from my body and being like, okay, I've already eaten, but you know what, I can eat again. And I wasn't even hungry. It was just
escapism.
It was just escapism, yeah. And it was only when I got in touch again with breath work that connected me to the body. And for me, that was the gateway that actually showed me how much presence I can create just from being within my body.
Yeah.
And then that presence is what actually elevates the rest of your life. So
it's as simple as that. I always hear, but this, how can this, I have therapists that come to my sessions, like psychotherapists and all sort of therapists. And with psychotherapists, I'm always curious, and I always like to have like old school, cognitive therapy kind of professionals. Because they want to let me see what this is all about,
Right.
So I like that. And in the end, you can see, like the faces and going like, trying to analyze like what just happened here.
I didn't read about this.
like how is this possible? How didn't I know this? Right. And I always hear that like, but this is so simple. I hear that. This is so simple. I don't bring crazy dynamics. It's you had this your whole life. Let's go back to basics.
Right. And I feel like that's why something like what you're creating and ecstatic dances is so powerful, because for a lot of people, they are disconnected from their body, and then for an hour or so, they fully embody themselves, and then they start moving and connecting with different parts of their body they forgot even existed.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know. You don't know. It's opening up space. And I do a lot of that with somatic movement in a very deep, very soft way, from body-mind centering from Cohen. And it just opens new universes inside of you. So just kind of sensing into a little detail, whatever it is that I'm guiding your journey into with music. So it's very immersive. Also with aromatherapy, I bring a lot of stuff. And you sense the space within.
Right.
And that space, when you bring your attention there with intention, it's kind of a quantum flip. It just kind of expands into this kind of infinite space. So, and that's very easy to access, actually. that kind of sense of, I'm bigger than on the inside.
the spaciousness within.
And kind of this depth inside. So my arm is here. I can see the boundaries and the size of it, the volume of it. But if I bring my attention inside, it will just become almost like a galaxy, whatever, and you feel different details. It's like a zoom.
Yes.
And you just start to bring awareness to that tiny place in your space, to that little vertebrae that you didn't know that could move on itself, and it just goes, and it just opens up space. So it's those little things that you can only get, and it's very easy to get there. You don't need to sit for 2 hours in meditation. In 10 minutes, you're accessing different states.
But I feel like a lot of people do need a guidance to get there because they're so used to asking for permission for everything that they need somebody to guiding meditation to tell them to feel into different parts of their body. Because I realized that when I did a guided meditation for myself, I recorded one for a client, and then I listened to my own guided meditation for the first time.
I never did that. I have to do that. I never listened to mine.
Yeah, it was a bit of a trip because I'm listening to myself give myself advice, and I'm like, okay,
that's weird.
And then, but then as I'm following my own advice, I'm like, wait, I can just tell myself this normally. Why do I not tell myself this normally? I can feel into all of my body, and that kind of opened up a door for me. Was like, wow,
it's right here.
I just need to give myself permission to feel it.
Yeah. I think I do it actually because my practice is guided. For Somagroove I'm always, not always, but it's very guided. So that's why the depth comes from that as well. It's immersive. And again, what I do with others is what I do with me. So I do guide myself in that way. I do those journeys, and kind of, okay, how am I feeling? And I do the scan. And then I go into and now I'm actually studying a beautiful practice from Dr. Sue Morter, and I'm starting to integrate that into what I do as well. So, which is kind of even more guided and just in the energy, kind of the subtle energy fields, and bringing it into your energy, your channel. So everybody can do it, and you don't need to have a course, have 10 years of meditation, Buddhist, you can be workaholic, corporate suit that doesn't know what's doing in Somagroove, what is this, and you just take your suit and you put a track suit on, and you just go, and in the end you'll be like, what? So it is accessible to everyone, I think.
I remember the first time I did yoga properly, like a yoga class. It was crazy, like what I witnessed. It was almost like a psychedelic experience. It was like my whole body had been so used to just moving in a certain way, and then it was at the gym actually, and I was probably in my early 20s. I went probably like 22, 23 first. I just was okay, let me try this. And I went to the class, and I remember like standing in a movement and moving my body in a way that I'd never done before, but then having to hold that position and breathe into it. And at the time I was very disconnected from my body. I was living so into just like getting things done and like, just focus on work all day and just in that vibration. And this was like such a break that I was closing my eyes, and I could see a lot of like red popping up and like visuals coming through and just like different shapes. And this was just from standing in one place and breathing. And like I actually didn't go back to another class after that.
Yeah, you got scared, obviously.
I got scared. Like, what? Like, okay, no,
goodbye.
Not for me.
Not for me. This crazy thing.
Yeah.
Leave it for the hippies.
Basically. But I still remember that experience. It was like, it was
I think we all had some. My first was with Reiki back in my early 20s, like 22, maybe around 22. And my life was supposed to be perfect back then. Like everything was working out, everything that I was working, my goals, I was DJing. It was really good. My career was exploding and I was good and I was, like I was hitting all the marks. And I felt miserable. And I was like, okay, why? This makes no sense. I should be super excited. I'm getting to where I've been working to, it's happening. Like what? And I had this beautiful, beautiful friend, very wise soul, that knew that I was not into that crazy hippie things. I was very kind of a scientific mind. And he said, you should try a friend of mine. She's a therapist. One of those things that you don't really know about. Let me know when you want. And that's all he told me. And I was like, okay. And then one day I was so bad, I was in such a big hole. Like, I really don't know what to do now. And you need to get to those. You need to lose yourself to eventually find yourself. I love that phrase. You need to lose yourself to find yourself. So I was lost. And then I said, hey, I have nothing to lose right now. I'm already lost. So I called him up, like, Manu, give me the name, book me. I don't know, take care of it. So I went to that session, and this was a powerful, powerful, beautiful woman that had a gift, and it was such a powerful energy. And I've never done anything like that. I didn't know anything about it. It was completely, scientific mind, athlete, DJ, completely different. And during the session, she just, I felt things that I've never felt the same way. And I was crying like a baby, sobbing my body was sobbing, not my mouth and my face. My body was sobbing, and I was convulsing and kind of had so much pain inside of me that I didn't know that was there. So it was a very strong session, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought it was a massage or something. And that was the beginning of my kind of spiritual journey, with the huge slap in the face. It was such a strong... I didn't run from it. I ran from it later, like a few months when it started to get even deeper. I ran from it. I put it on a hold for a while. But then things got rough again, and then you have to come back to it again. So yeah, I ran from it a few times. So I completely understand if you're not ready, I do not judge. I'm here if you want it. If you feel like this could be good for you, come. If you don't, thank you, go whenever, if ever, I'm here. So I try to bring that energy. And yes, so I started with Reiki in 22, and it was crazy. I started then reading and getting into meditation, but very scared because I was feeling stuff that I couldn't explain. And that was something that was not possible for my, intelligent, scientific mind.
Right.
That I want to read about it, and to study. And I was that person that knew the details of everything that I was interested in.
Come from a sports science background and like studying the body.
super. Yeah, I knew all the physiology, the anatomy. Like this makes no sense.
Right. Where's this? In the
Where's
books?
this coming from? Not from this place, from that place. So I believe that everybody has their own times, and not to rush anybody. Sometimes you feel that people just needs a little push. And when I feel that I do push, sometimes I feel that, okay, back off, and I back off. So I try to allow the intuition to guide me in that journey. But it's good that everybody knows, everybody that's listening to this podcast. If you're struggling, if you're afraid of what's coming up, that is completely natural, and that's how you're supposed to feel, because that's how we react to the unknown. At the same time, know that's how we react to the unknown. So when you know that that's the typical answer of your nervous system and of your brain, then you might decide to choose different. Like Einstein always said, doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different outcome is it's madness, right?
It's insane. And bringing it back to what you said
try
at
to
the
do something
start,
different about it.
What you said at the start was, for you, it was about doing it despite the fear. And it's like you have that fear.
With the fear.
And it's like you still...
Not despite. Yeah. Embracing the fear.
Embracing the fear.
Yeah. I need a peep. Peep.
Right,
it's
right. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to bring those words into it. Just do it.
Just do it. And feel the fear.
Yeah, fear is just wisdom waiting to be known, you know? It's right there.
Right.
The other side of fear is that abundance.
I feel like for me, that's why I love the ice bath so much. And one thing I've realized... we got to do it. Let's do it. It's done.
I'm afraid. I'll do it. Afraid.
It's.
I love it.
I love it. Let's do it.
Yes, let's do it. Let's film it.
Hey.
Let's film it. I'm here. I'm saying it. We're doing it.
Okay. Yes. It's done.
Yeah.
So the thing for me, what I realized at Sacred Soul, the difference between the way I facilitate ice bath and what people are used to, it's like the first question everybody asks me is like, what's the temperature and how long should I be in? Usually.
Too cold is the answer.
Exactly. And that's what people are concerned about the whole time when they're in the ice bath. They're like, okay, how long should I be in the ice bath? And like, is it 3 degrees? Is it 5 degrees or whatever?
Yeah.
And they want to know, okay, how long did I do? Did I do more than I thought? And then if they just focus on that, the only thing they will get from the experience is like boosting their ego a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, maybe I did 3 minutes. I was supposed to do 3. Yes, I did it.
Yeah.
But what I do is I don't tell people how long. I don't tell them the time. I just let them know when it's time to get out. And then it's like, okay, you've reached the limit. So then their mind isn't thinking about how much time have I done.
Just one more second, yeah.
Exactly. And then I also don't tell them the temperature.
Yeah.
I let them know the temperature beforehand, but it's not the focus of the thing. But it's like, it's not the case of like, okay.
It will shock your system. Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's cold. It's cold.
It's cold.
Don't need to worry if it's 5, 4, 3 or 10. But
you will feel it.
But if it's 3, I will let them know because 3 is pretty intense.
Okay.
But if they're not focused on the time and the temperature, instead that gives them the opportunity to let something go in the ice bath.
Yeah.
Because if you use it as a way to bring up something you want to let go in the breath work, then when you step into the ice bath, you can actually use that fear that's coming up and that's being triggered to actually release it.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful when it's done that way. Yeah. And when people go through that, it's like, okay, wow, I let so much of my fear go through because in my mind, this was like something I could never do. And then I finally like just stepped into it and I hate the cold. Like I have so many people say, I don't think
anybody likes it, right?
I think
you
I
just
like
do it. You like it? Really? But you like the pain, right? It doesn't feel good.
I don't always like it though. It's like,
but it doesn't feel good. It's kind of a good pain.
Yeah, it feels good.
But feels good or is it a good pain? Like I like the pain of working out.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
It feels bad, but I like it.
Exactly. I feel like it's the same as that where it's like when I first went to the gym, I was like, oh, I'm in so much pain. But after a few years, you're like,
it feels good. Like,
yes,
I'm sore.
Yes, I'm sure that soreness.
So it feels bad, but you like it.
Over time.
Okay.
So
cool.
It's like, it feels bad, but I think I programmed myself to make it feel good now.
Yeah.
But it's like, I look forward to that moment. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, wow, because it doesn't even feel like cold anymore to me. I just feel more like movement and electric shocks in my body. Yeah. It's just like, okay, this kind of like buzzing sensation.
Yeah.
And when you're breathing and you're focused on the breathing and you're not focused on being warmer than you are now and you're accepting, okay, I'm cold. I'm in this. Yeah. You're not thinking to when you were, in the blanket earlier on, you're like, oh, I'm going to get back there. Yeah. Then it teaches you so much. And I feel like it's a great metaphor for actually transformation, and it's a portal for transformation as well.
And it's the same thing. I'm hearing you speak about it, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's what I do in a different way. But it's about bringing your fears. I bring your fears out. You know, I put them out there for you to see them, and then you can choose. And I invite you step into it. You know, like feel it. It's okay.
Right.
So it's kind of, walking into that ice bath. in a different way, but it's about the emotional ice bath, which is also as scary as an ice bath. And you kind of going into it, you kind of, okay, I can survive this. I can do that. And it's giving. And I do believe, well, it's a bit off, but I want to bring it. For me, I just wrote a blog. I write. If you don't read it, you should read it and give me I would love to have your feedback. I have a blog on my website, so I put up some articles once in a while. I just write about whatever I'm feeling. So it's on somagroovesessions.com, the blog part, and it's there.
Yeah,
and I just wrote
link underneath.
Yay! And I would love to have yours and whoever wants to give their feedback. It's always good. And I just wrote one like last week, maybe, about embracing discomfort and how like the crazy, because some people are scared of catharsis and of big emotions and of like acting out and releasing. It's like, oh, that can be re-traumatizing, and there's this whole conversation around that. I think they're so important for you to understand that sometimes dysregulation is exactly what you need. So embracing dysregulation in a controlled environment, obviously, it's, you don't need it every time, obviously, but sometimes that's exactly what you need. So going into an ice bath, it's embracing dysregulation. You're just shocking your nervous system in a crazy way. So and embracing it and knowing that is actually good for you. It's building emotional resilience. It's building nervous system resilience, so you can go into this fight, flight, and then come back, and the sympathetic and all of that. And it's not about being nice and cozy and warm and fuzzy all the time. It's about being big, and going to the outlands, reaching out, reaching to the far ends of what you are. Sensing, oh, I'm comfortable here. Okay. What I do, I try to, reach out a little bit more, see what's there. And you start to expand with curiosity, expand your exploration of who you are and what is alive in you. And for me, that dysregulation, not all the time, but when it's right, it's what you need, to go crazy, to go into an ice bath. To scream your anger out, go mad crazy for 1 minute, give it all you got, whatever it is, every emotion needs that kind of. Just yesterday, and I can share here, I had big anxiety crisis. Well, crisis is too much, but I had like a tiny meltdown yesterday. And if this was a few years ago, I would just. You wouldn't tell it. You wouldn't see it anywhere in me. I could be here, and I would just be a complete mess inside, and I would be able to hold my outside frame, my armor, like it was nothing. And obviously that's not good for you. Okay, please don't do that at all. So yesterday I was with a friend, and I just we were listening to music, obviously, and this song just hit me like a punch in the stomach. And I was still back in Sagres, and I have this crazy week and a lot of things happening, expectations and the fears and the anxiety and the travelings, and trying to show up as best as I can to everywhere. And so it kind of came to this bursting point, and I just allowed it, and I just cried, and I was sad, and I just went into this dysregulated form of Vanda for, I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes or so, maybe less even. But I just allowed it to happen. And then we went for a walk. We watched the sky. It was beautiful, stars. I live in the middle of nature. It was cold. I had a nice jacket on, and I felt the cold on my face. And I looked up, and it was so beautiful. And I heard the little bugs on the and the smell of nature. And then I was ready for this journey. But I needed that kind of blah.
Right.
I needed to take it out of my system.
That
Otherwise,
release.
that energy would be somewhere here, and I wouldn't be able to be, So sometimes we need that. We need to clear it. A lot of times we need to clear it. So with practice, we become more aware of that, and we allow it more. So instead of just swallowing, I was like, okay, I'll go for it right now. Sorry.
Right. I feel like that was for sure one of my problems for many years, where it was like I was so unaware that there was even a problem because I was so used to just swallowing the problems and then not having an outlet for it as well.
Yeah.
And then over time it would manifest in small other ways, and then it just becomes a personality, it just becomes who you are.
Yeah.
And only through really examining yourself and looking at your patterns and diving deep into that can you unpack that and see what layers can be shifted.
Yeah, and our perception of who I am, what I am.
Right.
First of all, as you said in the beginning, we're changing all the time. And I think that helped me to really own that knowledge of we're shifting all the time.
Right.
Is that we're literally a different person at every second. Because on a cellular level, the renovation, cells are dying and cells are being made new. So you're never the same person because you're always changing. The cells are kind of recycling. One dies, another one comes.
It's always
So
constant change.
You're literally never the same person.
Yes.
You're always a new being.
We are completely different from the start of the podcast. We are like transformed.
Yes, we look kind of the same.
Right.
But actually, and the energy is shifted, obviously, here.
It has. Yeah, it is.
So we're always different. It's always different. So in embracing that, and I love that. I have one mantra that I say to myself, which is, today I choose different. Just as simple as that. So when something happens and you're used to respond in some way, in your pattern, breathe. I do it. Breathe. Today I choose different. And that, just saying that will open up inside of you what that different can be. Like, okay, I'll react in this way. I won't think that way. I won't think that what that person said was personal, I don't know. I'm not going to judge myself because I stayed in bed one more hour. I'll just embrace, I needed that extra hour to rest. So whatever it is, today I choose different. That helps me a lot. Because it's a choice. It's knowing that everything you are and everything you do is a choice. So it's bringing that from the subconscious to the conscious level, choosing more consciously, because otherwise you will choose unconsciously anyways. So it's owning the choice. Yeah.
Taking responsibility is huge.
Yeah.
And I feel that.
Once you know, you cannot unknow. The red pill, the blue pill. That was a big movie for me, The Matrix.
The Matrix.
Yeah. I encourage everyone to go back to that movie once in a while. I always learn from it. I see it once in a while. There's always something new for me there. Yeah. Responsibility is actually freedom at the same time. It's not the other way around, because usually people think that victimhood is freedom, because it's lack of responsibility, lack of, I don't need to think about, I'm just a victim. Life happens to me.
Right.
And then responsibility is I make life happen instead of life happens to me. I create my life.
Okay. But how do you draw the line for that? Because some people, when they take on so much responsibility, will fall into a victim because they're like, everything is happening to me. So therefore they fall back into a victimhood as well.
But what responsibility are they taking from it? They're choosing. What are they choosing? I think the first thing is to ask yourself, or whoever, what are you choosing in each of them, each of those things? Because you're always choosing. You're always, nothing happens, even the hard things, and this is hard to take and hard to say. even the bad things that happen in your life, you know, I believe in the higher purpose, the greater purpose. I believe that, you know, everything happens for a reason. You choose how you deal with it and how you go, how you learn from it, or you don't.
Right.
But everything happens for a reason. So even the really bad stuff, it happened for a reason, and that reason is always for your greater good. And that is a big shift in my life in the last years, feeling and knowing that. So if you're still falling into the victimhood of, oh, everything is happening to me, I'm taking on, what responsibility are you taking on, actually? Are you accepting too many jobs, too many helping others, you know, like putting on others' weight on your back?
Right.
That is a choice. That's not being a victim. Oh, nobody does anything for me. Oh, you know, we've all been there. I've been there. But that's a choice. Boundaries, you know, like, no.
Right.
My worthiness is not in my service. It's by being who I am.
We make so many choices in our life, and
every time.
And yeah, I think if
always
we
choosing,
take responsibility, it can empower you. And I'm curious to know if you have any advice for any facilitators who are at the edge. They're ready to like step into service and they want to take responsibility, but are just not sure of how to, you know, change from that victim mindset to stepping into their power. What's that first step, or what could they do to start that?
Do the path yourself first. Walk it. Don't try to lead anyone where you haven't been before. Don't go for the courses. The courses are incredible and you need to learn whatever you want to learn. But do go through it. You let your being go through it, because that's where your wisdom and your truth and your gift will be. You know, because we can have the same background, the same courses, the same gurus, whatever you want, I don't know. But what I'll bring to the world and what you'll bring to the world will be completely different, because we're different people, even with the same background and studying the same stuff with the same people.
And I feel like both are needed as well.
Yes, absolutely. But I think that there's a big, and I had that as well. I was like, oh, courses, certifications. That's just a little part of it.
Yeah, I think
it's a fundamental part, but it's a little part. What you bring as a human being, the level of presence that you can bring, that's where the facilitation magic is being present, is bringing safety, is letting the other people, the person that you are holding space for, feel safe in that journey. And that's about holding your own energy. So be a master, be good at holding your energy, holding space for you. And I think, and I feel, and I see, and I have a lot of people that ask me, oh, I really like what you do. I would love to learn how to do it. I have this dream of doing something kind of like you and holding space and facilitating. I always do recommend any certifications, any trainings. And that was me 2 years ago. I was doing all those questions.
Right.
So I love when people come and say that. But for me, the most important thing is find the modalities, the journey, the path that resonates with your soul for yourself. Don't think about what you're doing. You're going to do it professionally for others. Work for you right now. Be the facilitator of this being. Be the best facilitator. That means put yourself in that experience and see what really, you feel it. When you feel it, you feel it. That's easy one. That's an easy choice. When you feel it, you feel it. And from then, work on that. Can I hold my space? How can I not be triggered as much? Or not triggered, we're always triggered, but how can I respond to triggers differently? Because when you go into facilitating groups, you can learn all the theory about it. You can be the best student of the course. But then life gets real. and what you studied and that when I do this happens, that gets that gets lost a lot of times. So you think you have these expectations, okay, I'll bring this technique and then the people will feel this way and will act that way, and then I'll bring that one, da, 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 da. And you have this kind of all system lined out. It's all about the amount of attention and awareness that you can bring. In my opinion, are they the people that you're working with? Are they feeling seen, listened to, or are you in your mind thinking, "What's the next thing to do?" And that you don't learn at least I've never learned in any course. That I'm learning every day through experience. It's not about the modality. It's about the person. Because you're a human being connecting with another human being. So how deep are you able to connect with yourself? That will be you need to do that in order to do the same with others. So if you can't show up for yourself in that depth, it makes no sense to me that you're inviting others that way. You have no right to do it, in my opinion. So, and when you're being held from a facilitator, you feel it. You feel if there's darkness there, the good darkness, the paths that you walked. You feel the wisdom in the energy. Like, yeah, that person has been through a lot of stuff. And that is the invitation and the permission that you need to go as someone that's being held. And that is not about a course. That's about being a human being and then having tools to know how to. And then it's just winging it in a way that, okay, I think this is this tool now. Okay, now I'm going to bring that too. But it's about being a human being and not a facilitator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was incredible, beautiful answer. And no need to apologize. You gave a great answer. And thank you for joining us here today. It's been a incredible conversation. We've touched many points. And just to close off, if anybody wants to connect with you or Somagroove, how can they reach you?
Yeah, so you can reach me on the obvious platforms, just searching for Somagroove Sessions. So you have the website somagroovesessions.com. The Instagram are probably the best ways, and the YouTube as well. You have some videos there, sometimes visuals, it's always good. And just reach out, a DM, an email, whatever you want. I'm always open to connect with more people, and I really feel proud of what I'm doing, and I know that it's bringing good into the world in a very humble way, and I'm not afraid to say it, I feel it, I say it. I feel it's a beautiful thing that's coming into the world. I'm very honored to be doing what I'm doing. I feel it very deeply, and so if someone resonates with this, contact me. It will be a joy to contact and I'm in Lisbon, Porto, and mostly Algarve. I live in Sagres, and also online for group and one-on-one individual sessions. So let's journey together.
Thank you.
And you have to come.
Yeah, I do.
Well,
I'll be there. Well, I'll come. You
already
ice bath, and then we'll do a Somagroove.
It's here. Now we have to do it.
Okay, it's done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.